What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So look, y'all, we just finished watching the Romero versus Gervonta Tank Davis presser, and it was exciting to say the least. Don't you agree, man? It was exciting, wasn't it? It was exciting, man. Case in point. But nonetheless, man, it was really entertaining. Romero came to entertain, to say the least. The man came out there with a goddamn coyote fur on him. I don't know if it was fox fur. I don't know if it was chinchilla, whatever it was. All I know is it looked hot as hell, because I'm assuming they in Vegas or California somewhere. Tank even alluded to it. Like, man, it's 80 degrees something outside. You got a damn fur on, right? Nonetheless, man, I'm looking at Rolly like, I know he hotter than a hooker's vagina in that damn fur, right? But I mean, he came to show up and entertain. He talking crazy, telling about he gonna knock Tank ass out. He knocking him out. He knocking him the F out and so on and so forth. I'm like, damn. Like, with shit, I don't know, man. He sound really, really confident, right? But we know talk is one thing. Talk is cheap. Guys got to go into that ring and they got to go out there and settle it in that square circle, right? Gervonta Tank Davis is the most elite fighter that Rolly Romero will have on his resume by far. He's never been in a fight of this magnitude yet. So that's something that Tank is working in Tank's favor. Also, we know what Tank is. Tank got the goods, man. I criticize Tank for not fighting some of the fights I want him to fight. I want him to be fighting Ryan Garcia now. I wanted him to fight Lomachenko. I wanted him to be fighting Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, so on and so forth. But you know what? I think this, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a tough a tough fight for Tank, right? Everybody's assuming that Tank just gonna steamroll Rolly, and that very well could happen due to the fact that Rolly doesn't have the skill set that Gervonta Tank Davis has. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so funny, bro. I'm listening to Rolly talking like Bobby Boucher from the Waterboy, talking like the way he talking. It sounds like my man ain't even hit puberty yet. I know, right? It sounds like he ain't even hit puberty yet the way he talking. But nonetheless, man, he's really confident. And I'm saying they got history together, because Tank is talking about how when I came into the Mayweather gym, I told you was trash. I told you was this and that. So that lets me know I think they had a history sparring each other. Right? And I think that is what's got Rolly so comfortable, so confident in this fight. He's taking, this is early in his career. Rolly only had like, what, 15, 14 professional fights so far? He's taking a fight against Tank early in his career, right? Either he's trying to cash out or he really believes he has a chance to beat Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think it's the latter of the two. I think he thinks he can beat Tank, and I think probably from them sparring, he's saying, damn, he don't do me like he did the other dudes he be fighting. He don't be doing me like that. When we spar, he don't be doing me like that, and that's something to some people take with them. The fact that, hey, I ain't get done like the rest of them dudes, right? And I'm looking at Rolly, watching Rolly fight recently. Rolly has a nice frame about him. He's a big, strong kid. I say he ain't been through puberty, but physically you can't tell. The dude can punch. That is his strongest asset. I believe Rolly is the biggest puncher that Tank will be walking in there fighting, without question. Rolly got power punches, long, rangy guy. You know what I mean? Defense not the best. That's the problem. Rolly takes a lot of shots to give shots. And I don't know if in previous fights he just felt like the other guys he was fighting couldn't hurt him. So he was just confident, like, man, fuck that. I'm finna just walk through him. F that. I'm going to walk through him, whatever. Maybe that might be the case. He just feel like he can walk through whoever he's fighting, so on and so forth. That very well might be the case. But when you going in there with Gervonta Tank Davis, we know he is lights out. We seen him drop, what's the boy name, man? Leo Santa Cruz with the uppercut like that, the way he had him sleep. Hey, tucked that boy in, man, gave him some Ambien in the fist, man. We saw how that is, man. So it's a whole different animal when you're trying to go in there. You can't be just taking shots like that against Gervonta Tank Davis, right? Rolly's, hey, but one thing I would say is this. If Tank comes into this fight and he's super emotional, right, and lets Rolly rough him up, Rolly, like, he's very physical. Very, very physical. And he can get down and dirty. He can have some dirty tactics about him or whatever. But, I mean, shoot, it's a part of the fight game, right? It is what it is, man. Sometimes those tactics can be a part of the fight game. It's a fight. Certain fighters got to weather the storm and fight through it, right? But I think that Tank, I really do. I think he's physical, so on and so forth. I really do. But if Tank is off of his square, he's too emotional, he might get clipped with something. And also, if Tank is super emotional, he's swinging for the fences or whatever, he's trying to go out there and get a guy out of there quick, he may start to slow down and gas out a little bit in the 7th, 8th round. And at that point, I believe that the odds would be in the favor of Rolly Romero to try to get a stoppage somehow, some way if he can hurt Tank. I've seen Tank take some shots from guys he shouldn't have taken, and I think part of that is Tank. I think Tank had great defense, responsible defense. Not super great, but he got responsible defense for sure. I just think he think that some guys can't hurt him, so he's just like, F it, I'm finna just walk through him, walk through him, walk through him. Even in that last fight, I saw Mario Barrios hit Tank with something later on in that fight. You know what I mean? So, but if Tank is super emotional, if he off his square one bit, if he's too emotional, because we know they both high strong, the way Rolly is talking crazy like that, Tank like ready to go in there and slaughter him, right? Everybody got to have controlled anger in this fight. Because if somebody is off their square and too emotional, some dude can get hurt real quick and a stoppage can occur. I got Gervonta Tank Davis winning this fight by stoppage. But again, Tank, if he's too emotional, he may leave himself open for something and get caught with something and get hurt badly. The key to this fight for Gervonta Tank Davis is to step into his chest. Step into his grill. Don't give him no space. If you give Rolly needs space to get that that hammer off. He needs space. Don't give him no space. Don't respect him. Come up in his grill and step to him and bring the fight to him and make him fight the fight you want to fight. Don't try to keep staying on the outside or whatever, because he need that range to get them shots off. And if he got range, you know what I'm saying, he can be able to get up in there on you, right? So go in the close quarters. I believe that's Tank's best bet. We know, Rolly called him, said he had T-Rex arms and so on and so forth, right? So we know Tank ain't got the longest reach. He's a small guy. But if you come in there with a bigger dude, put it in his chest. Put it up in here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes don't want that smoke when it's up close. They like to have range. You know what I'm saying? They grenade throwers. They don't like to be up and they ain't a knife wielder. Everybody's not a knife wielder. You know what I'm saying? And in this case, I don't think Rolly's a knife wielder. I think he's a grenade thrower. You know what I'm saying? From distance. Because sometimes that close quarter action get a little too rough. He's physical, but I think he's physical against certain guys. He ain't found nobody with the heat that Tank got. So I think this is going to be a whole different battle for him. It's going to be a great fight for sure, without question. But the shit talking and talking back and forth, I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude talking like, hey, he don't fear Tank. And again, I think there may be some confidence from sparring, because every fighter would tell you spar how you fight a lot of times, right? A lot of times, sometimes it's time to get in and work. It's good work in or whatever, but a lot of times you see how a person fight in the sparring game, you know? So maybe he sees something and feel like, hey, Tank ain't doing me like them other dudes or whatever. And if they have sparred before, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they sparred before growing up in that Mayweather gym coming up. And I think he think, hey, man, Tank ain't really going to, it is what it is. He ain't going to hurt me, whatever it is. It's going to be whatever it is. But I'm going to say this too. Rolly was in there, Rolly in there trying to talk trash. My man sounded like he was trying to remember what he was saying. Like he rehearsed something. He had it all scripted out, all planned out, and had it pinned out well. But he sounded like he was flubbing over his words, and he was kind of just like, it sounded like, I don't know, it didn't sound natural coming out of his mouth the way he was talking mess. It sounded like he was trying to remember something he said, like he wrote down a script or lines, and he just was like, damn. It was coming back to him as he was talking. I'm like, my man sound like Bobby Boucher up here, man. Damn. You know what I'm saying? But, again, I think it should be an action-packed fight. Exciting. But after this fight, I really would love to see Tank. If he is to defeat Rolly Romero, as I'm predicting he will, I would love to see him fight a Teofimo Lopez. I would love to see him fight a Lomachenko. I would love, because I think Tank got the goods for real. Dudes give him a hard time and give him a lot of flack because he hasn't been in big fights yet, and because he signed under Floyd Mayweather Jr. Y'all know Floyd Mayweather is super hated in the sport. Guys hated him from way back in the day around the Oscar De La Hoya fight. Since before then. But really, that Oscar De La Hoya fight, that's when that hate really came. When he became the cash cow pay-per-view came. That hate from Floyd Mayweather has transferred over to Gervonta Tank Davis, I believe. Dudes think he ain't nothing. He overrated this, that, and the third. He got to show what he's made of, man. I'm excited for this fight. Peace.